Hello, everyone, and a very happy birthday to you, Paul. My birthday gift to you will be reading a passage out of the Further Adventures of Stanley Larson. So here I go. The car was running well, and Stanley took a long drive up the coast to north of Santa Barbara. He didn't care for how crowded LA was these days, very different than in the 1970s. He stopped at a cafe and ate lunch, thanking God for this pleasant experience. He'd always enjoyed sitting in cafes or coffee shops rather than big restaurants or bars. More comfortable physically and even emotionally. Except the day he found out Elvis had died. He was in a small restaurant then. The waitress had asked him, "Aren't you the one who told us Elvis just died?" or something like that. It might not have been very hard to answer this case of mistaken identity, but for the fact that he knew nothing of it, and he felt it was a pretty bizarre way to find out such news. Or when he'd read in the paper the owner of the gym, who Stanley considered a friend, had just been murdered. That was while sitting in a cafe also. The news hit him hard, and the crime was never solved. Both of those events occurred in 1977. He returned in a relaxed state of mind down the coast highway to the San Fernando Valley, picking up beer and cereal and a turkey sandwich at a local 7-Eleven market. A homeless-looking fellow was loitering outside, and, stopping him before he could ask for money, Stanley asked, "What do you need?" The man in his 20s, dressed shabbily, smiled. Before he could answer, Stanley asked, "Are you hungry?" The man replied, "Yes, I am, but..." And before he could ask, as Stanley assumed, for money, Stanley removed the packaged turkey and cheese sandwich from his bag and handed it to him. "Here, buddy." The man smiled more fully and gratefully took the offered gift, whereupon Stanley turned to re-enter the 7-Eleven. Thank you, God bless you," the man shouted after him. Stanley nodded and went in to buy another sandwich. He didn't care to give beggars money because for all he knew, they would purchase alcohol or worse with it. And so he tried always to give food, or on a hot day, a bottle of water instead. Sometimes they said they weren't hungry, but not often, and he'd see if they wanted coffee. It was worth the extra effort. After all, there but for the grace of God, or the will of God, or the luck of the draw, or something. It could be him loitering, broke, weak, destitute, unhappy, dirty, thirsty, or some such type condition. All right, that is the passage that I just read out of the Further Adventures of Stanley Larson. Please, everybody, if you haven't already, please buy this book. And there are 6 other books that Paul has on Amazon waiting to be purchased by you if you haven't done so already. And I understand that Paul is also in the middle of writing his 8th book, which I am so looking forward to reading once it gets published and released. So hope you all have a wonderful day. Again, happy birthday, Paul.